These 8 useful English words will boost your everyday fluency and your IELTS, TOEFL, or Cambridge score. And you won't just memorize them. You'll meet each one inside the story, feel what it means, then prove you caught it. That's how your brain keeps them for good. 3 weeks after Abuela's funeral, Abuelo still had not finished a single plate of food. He sat at the head of the silent kitchen table where, for 40 years, his wife had served her famous Sunday stew, and slowly, quietly, he was fading away too. Mateo was 15, and he had decided that he was going to bring Abuelo back to life with a pot of soup. For Mateo's whole life, Abuela's Sunday stew had been the heart of the family. Every single week, the whole noisy family had crowded around that table, and the rich aroma of her cooking had filled the house from the door to the roof. Now the kitchen was cold and silent. The aroma was gone, and so, it seemed, was Abuelo's reason to get up in the morning. Mateo found her recipe card in a kitchen drawer, soft and stained from 100 Sundays. In her careful, looping hand, it listed everything: the meat, the beans, the peppers, the slow hours on the stove. So one Sunday morning, Mateo tied on her old apron, and he began to cook. He browned the meat exactly as the card said. He let the pot simmer low and slow for 3 long hours, stirring it gently so that nothing would catch and burn. The familiar aroma crept through the house at last, and for one breathless moment, Abuelo lifted his head. But when Mateo carried him a bowl, the old man took a single spoonful, and his eyes filled, and he set the spoon down. "It is good, mijo," he whispered, "but it is not hers." Mateo tried again the next Sunday, and the Sunday after that. He simmered the meat until it was meltingly tender, stirring the heavy pot the way she always had. He added more salt, then less. More time, then less. Every week the stew was good, warm, hearty, honest food, and every week Abuelo would smell it, grow soft and wistful, eat 2 polite spoonfuls, and quietly leave the table. Something was missing, and Mateo had no idea what. Then, one evening, turning the worn recipe card over in his hands, Mateo noticed something he had missed. There, on the back, almost rubbed away by time, was one more line in Abuela's faded hand. It was not an ingredient at all. It read, "Always make far too much." So there is enough for anyone who is alone that day. And all at once, Mateo understood. The secret had never been a spice, or a trick, or some hidden step on the stove. The secret of Abuela's Sunday stew was the full, loud, crowded table it was always made to fill. She had cooked it not to be perfect, but to gather every lonely soul nearby and feed them week after week for 40 years. Abuelo was not starving for her recipe. He was starving for her table. So the next Sunday, Mateo made the biggest pot of stew of his life, and then he went out and knocked on doors. He invited the widow from across the street who always ate alone. He invited his loud cousins, the old man from the corner shop, and 2 children whose parents worked late. By 6 o'clock, the silent kitchen was packed full of people, and the hearty smell of stew, and a wall of warm, happy noise. Mateo sat Abuelo at the head of his own table, right in the middle of all that life, and slowly, something in the old man's face began to thaw. A neighbor told a story about Abuela, and Abuelo laughed, actually laughed, and then, at last, he began to eat. He finished a whole bowl, and then he quietly asked for another. The crowded, tender warmth of the room did for him what no perfect recipe ever could. It consoled a grief that good food alone could never have consoled. That night, with the dishes washed and the guests gone home full, Abuelo took Mateo's hand. For the first time since the funeral, he began to reminisce about the day he first met Abuela, about her terrible singing, about 40 years of Sundays at that table. He laughed and he wept, wistful and grateful all at once, and he reminisced until the candles burned low. Mateo had set out to recreate a stew. Instead, without quite knowing how, he had brought his whole family back to the table and given Abuelo back his reason to stay. Now, and did you catch all 8? Let's find out. A verb meaning to move a spoon round and round through food or liquid. It's what you do to your tea after dropping the sugar in. Mateo did this gently to the pot so nothing would stick and burn. He kept doing what to the pot, moving the spoon round so nothing would catch and burn. The word is stir. She began to stir the soup slowly with a long wooden spoon. A noun for a pleasant, noticeable smell, especially of food or coffee. It's the delicious smell of fresh bread that pulls you to the kitchen. The rich one of these from the stew filled the whole house. The warm what of the stew, its delicious smell, crept through every room of the house. The word is aroma. The aroma of fresh coffee drifted through the little cafe. A verb meaning to cook gently in liquid that is just below boiling. It's the soft, lazy bubbling of a soup left quietly on the stove. Mateo let the stew do this low and slow for 3 long hours. He let the pot do what? Cook gently just below boiling. Low and slow for 3 hours? The word is simmer. Let the sauce simmer on a low heat for about 20 minutes. An adjective for food that is filling, warm, and satisfying. It describes the big, warming meal you crave on a cold winter night. Mateo's stew was always this good, honest, filling food. The what kind of smell of the stew, warm and filling, filled the crowded little kitchen. The word is hearty. After the hike, they shared a hearty bowl of thick vegetable soup. An adjective meaning soft and easy to cut or chew, also gentle and loving. It's how slow cooked meat falls apart at the touch of a fork. Mateo simmered the meat until it was meltingly this. He cooked the meat until it was meltingly what? Soft enough to fall apart? The word is tender. The beef was so tender, it almost melted on the tongue. A verb meaning to comfort someone who is sad or grieving. It's what you do for a crying friend with a hug and gentle words. The warm, crowded room did this for Abuelo's deep grief. The warmth of the full table did what to a grief, comforted it, that food alone never could. The word is console. She tried to console her friend after the sad news arrived. An adjective for being gently sad and full of longing for the past. It's the quiet, faraway look of someone missing a happier time. Abuelo grew soft, and this whenever he smelled the cooking stew. He laughed and wept, what kind of and grateful, gently sad for the years gone by. The word is wistful. She gave a wistful smile at the old photo of her childhood home. A verb meaning to talk or think fondly about happy times in the past. It's sharing warm, old memories, starting with, do you remember when? After the meal, Abuelo finally began to do this about Abuela. He began to do what? Fondly recall the past. About the day he met her in 40 years of Sundays. The word is reminisce. The old friends sat up late, reminiscing about their school days. Quick recap. How many do you still remember? Stir. Aroma. Simmer. Hearty. Tender. Console. Wistful. Reminisce. A new English story every day. Subscribe and learn useful words the way your brain actually keeps them. Inside a story you won't forget.